is the first guy saying don't stand firm, be nice, and then you'll have the opportunity to say what you want to say. The other guy saying hold firm on truth. These niceties are getting in the way of your ability to actually practically spread truth.
I think they're both true.
I was gonna say I'm with both of them, except I'm more toward the first one.
Really? The more nice guy?
No, I mean with what he said. I liked his 10 things.
Hold on. Some of his 10 things are the things that actually drove me away from that man's opinion. What was the number 2?
Let's try holding beliefs with confidence, but also with humility.
Read his explanation.
Okay.
I didn't read the explanation.
Everyone who
part.
holds an opinion thinks they're right. That's kind of how opinions work. People aren't turned off that we believe in certain propositions to be true. They're turned off because we're arrogant about it. Yes, let us hold our beliefs with confidence, but also with humility that says, but I could be wrong.
Oh, yeah, that's not humility.
That's foolishness and a lie.
I am right, but let me humbly tell you how.
But here's the thing. Well, I think the one thing that I tend to disagree with nice man is first of all, when people talk about being nice, their general definition is agreeable. You know what I'm saying? Like where he's agreed to be with me, and we talk about this a lot when it comes to when people talk about tolerance. Like his biggest thing is probably in the realm of tolerance, right?
Yeah.
And what we're talking about is people like to use those words interchangeably. Like that guy hates me, and instead he's just not tolerant of your behavior. And the reason why is because I love you enough to tell you that God's not tolerant of your behavior. It's not them. It's not me they're rejecting. They're rejecting God. And he said the other way. In his opening paragraph, he was like, that we'll have something to answer for, because it's not that they were rejecting Christ. They were rejecting his people. That's kind of not how the Bible spells it out. Now, I suppose it matters what type of God's love you're describing, but Christ says speak boldly, because it's not you that they're hating. They're hating me. They hated me first. And so the reasons when you try to explain the gospel to somebody and they don't want anything to do with it, Jesus says basically, don't take that personally. They're rejecting me, not you. And that's the difference. And like some of the things, it's not like I'm against presenting the gospel in a way that shows it in a loving manner, but that doesn't cross the boundary into being tolerant of you being on the opposite side of God, right? Because if I was okay with you and God not being together, being apart, I wouldn't even be talking to you about him. You know what I'm saying? If I was okay that you didn't have a relationship with Christ, and I didn't love you enough to say, listen, the way that you're living your life, not the particular sins, not the individual sins, not the things that I don't do that you do, that's stupid, that is judgmental, and the Bible doesn't have much caveat for that, right? But the plain fact that your source of living is not coming from the Creator who made it, that's the problem, right? That's what I want to talk about.
Right, because ultimately you're fighting for God's perspective to be clear, because God's purpose is restoration in your life, right? It's not like, hey man, I'm fighting you're really making God mad. God put those things down to say, look, I'm trying to protect you. Here's the things that are going to cause you trouble in life. I say don't steal, it causes trouble. I say don't commit adultery, it causes trouble. I say love your neighbor. Be in a community. Listen, if you don't do those things, that's how that's what causes trouble in your life. I seek your restoration with me, and that's what you're fighting for. It's not like you're fighting for, you were offended dad, I'm going to tell on him.
That's right.
And the perspective, I think, I don't know, but I thought you looked like you were going to say something.
So I think I agree with everybody on the standpoint of, I don't fully agree with either belief. I think that there are pieces of each individual portion that need to be combined together, and you need to find yourself in a standpoint in the middle. And I think that what I disagree with about the whole nice thing is I don't think we're called to be nice, and I don't think that nicety is the situation. I think that there's a difference between being nice to people, meaning I think he calls that as a definition. Part of it is affable, so being liked and likable and things like that. I think that there's a difference between nice to people and being that likable character and honestly caring about them. So a nice guy walks up to the situation and says, yeah, you've got sin in your life, but that's okay, I do too. And that's it. Because he wants to be liked and he doesn't want to call someone out on that. The caring guy walks up to that person and says, hey, you've got sin in your life and that's not in any way okay. And because I care about you, I'm going to talk to you about why it's not okay to have in your life. Let's get it out. It's intolerance for the sin, but care for the person. And I think that's the biggest step that we need to be at is realizing that Yes, the sin is there. Yes, we are called to have no tolerance for sin. God has no tolerance for sin. There's no place where God will say, it's okay. He still loves the person with every bit of his being. That is his character and that is his heart. But through loving that person, his intolerance is shown for the sin itself, not for the person. Through loving and caring on that person that both of them called out that God is a loving person or loving God, the care is the portion where, yes, you are intolerant against the sin. Yes, you are intolerant against the acts, but you're tolerant against the person.
Well, see, here's the thing: is I think that's where we run into a lot of trouble, and people get upset with with tolerance, and maybe that is some of the PR on our front, and maybe it's some of where our hearts are. But like, sin is nothing but an indicator of your broken relationship with Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't matter what sin you are that you're picking; it doesn't the amount of sin that you have. We tend to focus on that, right? Well, that particular sin. That's bad news, Bubba.
Right.
Yeah.
That's way bad, right?
Especially because you do it and I don't.
That's right.
We objectify big sins.
It has nothing to do with what particular sin you're using or what the quantity or quality of that sin is, right? It's an indicator that your life source is not coming from the Creator and your relationship with Jesus Christ is currently broken. That is what should be our concern. And so, and like, I have erred on the exact side that he's talking about. Because I will look at a man and I will say, look, you told me these things. These are all clear indications that you got problems. We need to work on fixing your addiction to pornography. We need to work on fixing your drinking problem. And really, what I should have been doing is working on their relationship with Christ. I've missed that boat too. And the same goes with self assessment as well. I do that too, right? I look at myself and I go, I need to clean. There's ways that God wants me to act, and there's ways that I'm struggling with, and I'm not hitting them. And I've got to work on this to get this fixed. And the truth of the matter is, I have to let my relationship with Christ fix them. If it could be fixed on my own, I'd have done it. If it was easy, I'd have fixed it, right? Like, these are God-sized problems. And I'm not saying you can't, like, put down an addiction, as a non-Christian. You can. They do it, right? But what I'm saying is like, the goal is to not get rid of sin. The goal is to be in relationship with the Father and let Jesus take that sin away. He pays for it, and then he takes it. That is what the Bible describes.